My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. My name is not Inigo Montoya. It is Michael Leidick, and today we are broadcasting from beautiful Daytona Beach, Florida, helping my daughter unpack, or rather pack, all of her things and move to their new place in Columbus, Ohio. So we're down here filling boxes and selling things on Facebook Marketplace. I hope you're well. Quick roll call. Let's see who the farthest person away from me is today. Where are you from today in the world? There's no prize, but it's always fun hearing where people are from. Dan is from Australia. We're obligated to say it with a bad American Australian accent. Oh, Jorge's Canary Islands too. Ken says, hey, I am from Mars. I would believe that based on your posts in the Discord. John's out in Nashville. Good to see you. Okay, so obviously Australia beats Wisconsin, so we're going to go with that. We're here today because we have an interesting proposition as it relates to trading in the futures markets. And so our company is called backtothefuturetrading.com, and for 16 years we've been working with futures, forex, and equity traders, most recently cryptocurrency traders, looking for something that's really unusual when it comes to the markets. And how many of you have been following the drama today? Tesla, of course, dropping like a rock. We told you it was going to drop like a rock. And this little bomb that fell today at 3 o'clock, Elon Musk, time to drop the really big bomb. Real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. This is the reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, Donald J. Trump. And so, quite a wonderful day. If you go through the news, Musk MAGA crash landing, stock spirals, Trump suggesting we should cancel all of the Starlink, SpaceX, Tesla stuff. And I am here for it. Trump saying Musk went crazy. He went crazy. Tesla down 14%. We're going to look at all of these things today. But first, I want to start with a proposition. Each week, we self-publish a few screenshots. And you'll notice in the lower left corner, this one in particular was added to the interwebs 4 days ago. Just went over this with another trader. 4 days ago, our GM Rachel posted a series of screenshots for different markets and sort of indelibly marked permanently with electronic Sharpie what the programming was estimating might happen today, 4 days ago. And so all of these times on the top of the histogram were times that the computer had found over the last several weeks that the E-mini S&P 5-minute chart more often than not goes down. And then these times on the bottom of the chart over the last several weeks when we went looking, the program warned us that these were the times more often than not lately, the market, in this case the S&P E-mini 5-minute, usually goes up. And so this is a thumbprint of the time patterns that this market lately has established. And so now here's where it gets really interesting and uncomfortable for some people, in fact. When we go and look at the signs, or the signals rather, I just want to establish really quick that I'm using the same signal times from 4 days ago. So where it says 1240 here, you'll see it says 1240. Where it says 12:05, you'll see where it says 12:05. Where it says 10:40, you'll see where it says 10:40. And where it says 11 o'clock, you'll see where it says 11 o'clock. So would anyone disagree that the times that were published for this market 4 days ago, Eastern time, by the way, are the same actual times that are on my chart today, 4 days later? Anybody disagree with what I'm saying? Because it's important that we establish at this point in the webinar, I'm not trying to fool you. Other vendors, when they show their cornucopia, potpourri of garbage indicators and tools and services, they use all sorts of tricks, right? All sorts of Jedi mind tricks and mental warfare to convince you that they're right and everything you need in life that you need to be profitable is on their screen. This is what the software warned me about 2 days ago, 4 days ago. Let me come in here, and we did take trades today in our advanced training room, but I just want to take them off my chart here for us and look at the day. Let's look at the day together and see if we see anything of interest here. Okay. Now, before I start, I just want to make sure, does everyone here have access to, in their GoToWebinar control center, there should be something that says handouts. You guys all have access to your handouts folder in GoToMeeting, because I've uploaded something now for quite a few number of years. And when you click on your handout, it should look like this. Okay. We'll come back to that book in a second. So, what is the program doing? What is it telling us, and how might it help us as traders? Well, the first thing we have to confront is the fact that this is the only program which has signals on the right-hand side of the chart. So all of these signals here are future possibilities or future probabilities. You can see on the 5-minute chart, we have 6:05 Eastern, 7:25 Eastern, and 8:30 Eastern. The only reason these are here is because over the last several weeks, the program found a tendency more often than not for the markets to go up or down at these times. 7 p.m. is a bull move and 8 p.m. is a bull move. Of course, these are after market hours, but you'll see as we scoot over to the right that I already have the times for tomorrow. What? 4:15, 5:40, 7:35, 10:45, 11:40, 2:20, and 3:40. 3:05, 6:05, 9:10, 11:10, 12:20, and 2:25. These times do not repaint, they do not disappear, they do not appear later. They are here now. They are warning us that there is a behavior pattern in the future. And so we know at the very least, as far as you're concerned, that these times are 24 hours old. But look, if I really squish up the chart, there's the 9th, the 10th, the 11th, the 12th, the 13th. All of these times are waiting for me in the future, just like they were waiting for me in that screenshot. And so now we're looking to see, why would we pay attention to the times in the future? And the reason we pay attention to the times in the future is what happens consistently at the times we were waiting for moves to occur. Okay, so let's start with the obvious ones first. Up at 10:40, down at 12:40, up at 2:25, down at 3:40, and now up at 4 o'clock. 2 high close bars in a row, right? I'm gonna stretch this out so we can really get in here and take a look. Okay, any other obvious contenders in here that we see had extreme relevance? We had the econ at 8:30 this morning for the unemployment report. We had the signal at 9:15. Okay, so these are the clear and obvious winners so far. Everybody with me? Thomas, unfortunately for TradingView, we're not able to put the histogram at the bottom for two reasons. Number one, we have a maximum number of program lines available to us for the indicator that we've already surpassed or run just shy of. And number two, because it's a cloud-based web hosted service, the computing power of TradingView's backbone really can't support much more than we're asking it to do without becoming highly unstable and crashing. Okay, everybody with me so far? So I have one more signal to show you. If there's a way to do it in the future, we're going to get them as matched up as we can. In your book, I want you to scroll down with me, and I'll show you this on the software. Scroll down with me. I think it's page 13 or 14. No, it's a little lower than that. We notice that sometimes the signals will reverse. And so on page 27 of your book, I wasn't even close, I want you to notice something. And I've been putting this book out for 8 years now, I think. When you have a prior swing high, and you arrive at the buying time signal, and either that signal candle, the one to the left or the right, are brand new structural highs. Either that candle, the one to the left or the right, are brand new structural highs. An interesting thing occurs. The market tends to do this. And that signal, we give it the number 5 because it's the 5th one we discovered, tends to be the high of day. So at 12:05, I'm going to come into the software now and I'm going to activate that feature in TachEon Warp and tell it to look for those advanced patterns. Remember, this is a 5-day-old time signal. And when it comes back, there should be a blue arrow over that candle and ding, sure enough, there it is. So I'm going to come over here, and now with the advanced functionality of Warp engaged, I'm going to put a white arrow over that one. Okay. So when we're looking at the US session here today, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 signals going in the direction we're expecting them to. And how many signals didn't go? 9:40, 10:10, and 11 o'clock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 8 out of 11. I'm not a mathematician, but 8 divided by 11 is a 73% accuracy. Now, how is it possible that these signals worked 73% of the time today? Based on the fact that they're a 4-day-old forecast. And this is our conundrum. This is where people have meltdowns. This is where I get hate mail. This is where they call me all sorts of things on the interweb. Remember, that time, those times were published. If we subpoenaed the president of screencast.com and he brought his web host technicians, would swear on a stack of Bibles that this is what was uploaded 4 days ago. 13 of you were following along. What about Wednesday? Wednesday was a fun day. Remember, we're looking at this market because it's by far the most popular index traded in the world. the most popular index in the world. And so now if we go back and we compare those times to what happened yesterday, it gets really weird. Lillian, it's super crazy, right? What's going on there? Because if you look at the times from yesterday, with the advanced patterns in the book that's 8 years old, you have 6 a.m., you got 4:45, you have 7 o'clock, the pattern 5 at 7:50, then you have the pattern 4 at 8:20, the pattern 1 at 9:30, the pattern 2 at 9:55, the pattern 1 at 10:50, the pattern 2 at 11:25, and then so that's a whole day, right? 1 o'clock is the same as it was by 1:40. 1:40 goes up, 2:15 we come down. And that's yesterday with a 4-day-old signal, and then today, and then today. Okay. Lillian said, how do we trade it? Do you want to know how to trade it? Cool. So I have a video that goes into these setups that I think would be very helpful for some of you. I have it in a Dropbox. You're going to have to download it to watch it after the class. But I think it really helps people, where is it? Understand where I'm coming from with what I'm about to show you. Bear with me one moment. There it is. Copy. Okay, so Lillian, I'm going to post this into the GoToWebinar chat box. Tell me if it pops up on your side, okay? You see that one come through? Matter of fact, yeah, I sent it to everybody. Do you see that link? Okay. So there are setups in here that we'll talk about. And you'll notice, I want you to see how old the video is, just so you know I'm not making stuff up here just for the webinar today. This was uploaded on April 30th of 2025. Can you guys see that? Right there. Okay, so I didn't just make this today. And there are vendors who do that. Make up stuff to make their webinars look good. Okay. 8:30. 8:30 is a signal with trend. It is the unemployment report. First, I should write down what I'm going to teach you. Signal with trend. There is an alternate of that called a crossover trade. Then Lillian, there's something called a puncture. And then there is an aggressive counter trend trade, or what I call an ACT. Okay, here's how it works. With a pattern 1, we're above the moving average, Lillian. The stop is 1.5 ATR values away. That's what each of these blue and white dotted lines are. This isn't the only way to trade with this, but it's a way that I find most beginners understand. Okay, so all of these blue and white dotted lines, Lillian, you can go into the program and set how far away you want that value to be. And so the default value per the webinar instructions, 1.5 average true range values away. So the stop is the size of a 5-minute bar on average plus 50% more away. The closest you want to put that is about 1. Anything less than 1, you're kind of playing with fire. So at 8:30, the candle closes above the moving average. We have a long, the report comes out, of course it hits the stop, -4. Now Lillian, the very next candle closes above the EMA. This is what's known as a crossover trade. We have a buying signal, a candle closed over the moving average. We enter long. Our stop goes 1 tick under the crossover candle, and we hold it. We hold it until the next selling pressure time. So trade number 1 per the video, signal with trend. Trade number 2, crossover trade. 9:15. Lillian, is 9:15 a trend or a counter trend signal? Is 9:15 a trend or a counter trend signal, Jorge? We're above the moving average, which is climbing, so it's counter trend. So in the book, in the video, I look for structure to support my stop because I'm not using a trend stop for a counter trend trade, right? And so there's structure here above me to the left. I put my stop 2 ticks above that structure. 9:15 is the signal. How long does that window last? Until 9:40. Right? 9:15 is the signal. The most basic thing to do is to sell it and hold on until 9:40 plus 20. But the risk on the trade was next to nothing, right? Now, at 9:40, this is a counter trend trade too. It's on the wrong side of the moving average. My stop here, there's no structure to the left. Lillian is just underneath that candle. It's just underneath that candle. So let's come ahead and just put some more stuff here. Aggressive counter trend. This is an aggressive counter trend. Our stop for that, per the video I just gave all of you, is right here. And of course it hits the stop, right? No denying that. -5. We'll tuck that over there. 10-10, it's not a pattern 4. Almost makes it into pattern 4 territory. Poops the bed, doesn't quite do it. And this one is a substantial stop. Comes up, comes up, comes up. Lillian, we got to be out by 10:40. That's -17. So this one is a signal with trend. 10:40, below the moving average. Lillian, that's an aggressive counter trend trade. Aggressive counter trend trade means I buy at the close of the candle. My stop is 2 ticks under the low, but I have to be out by what? The next buy time, plus 14. 11 o'clock, we have another aggressive counter trend trade. I look left and there's structure there. I look left and there's structure there. There's 2 candles. I put my stop right above that one. Lillian, it hits my stop. Let's lock it in. Boom. -3. I'll put it right there. You tracking so far? Lillian, are we tracking so far? Everything good? Okay. 12:05. If only someone had written a book that talked about, if only someone had written a book that told us what to do when we get to a pattern 5. Oh, wait, that's me. I can short it, and if I want to go long, I have to wait for it, Lillian, to break out above its own highs. So there's two possibilities here. First thing is I can say, hey, this pattern 5 tells us that this white dot is probably going to behave like a blue dot. If you were in my Edge conference this week, you guys already know that I would have had a retrograde signal here, and that we would have exited our retrograde signal at 1205. But because this is a counter trend signal now, Lillian, I look left and I go short at 1205. If it continues to go up through that line, I buy it as a breakout, but it doesn't do that. And so now how long do I get to hold this? Until 1240. And again, I'm not making this up. This is, how old is this book? 2016, 9 years. 9 years, pattern 5s are still doing what they always do. Okay, so let's log that. And pattern 5 here takes the form of an aggressive counter trend trade. And we'll document that. And don't worry, we train everybody how to learn this stuff. It's not an impossible task, it's just different. 1240, what side of the line are we on? The wrong side. Uh-oh. Well, it can be a signal with trend, it can be a crossover, it can be a puncture, it can be a counter trend trade. Well, it looks like a counter trend trade. Well, when I look left, is there any structure that helps me identify a stop that isn't the big stop? Well, I look left and I see 1 candle, 2 candles, 3 candles, 4 candles right here. If I want to get even tighter, you can make an argument for those 3 guys right there, right, Lillian? I think most people looking at this would say, yeah, there's some resistance right there. And we short it. Okay, if you guys think that's incorrect, please call me out. I'm happy to make changes. What we can't deny is that the candle goes straight down, wherever we put our stop. At 1240, someone pulls. At 1240, somebody pulls the plug out of the drain. Now, how long are we going to hold this trade for, Jorge? How long are we going to hold this trade for? If only there was a way that we could know how much time the 1240 signal had before it expired. Oh, wait, I do. 1950. Okay. 225 comes, and we have another one of those aggressive counter trend trades. I look left. The problem is the structure is under the big boy stop. Now what do? I put my stop right under this candle. How far does it go in my direction immediately? What's the maximum favorable excursion? On that one trade, it went 8.5 points in your direction, $450. But alas, we're playing by the rules, and so we have to log the stop, -9. Now, this is a trade that I actually took. This is called a puncture. What in the world is a puncture? A puncture is a failed counter trend signal with trend. The trend is falling. I want to sell, but I don't want to get hit with buyers. And Lillian, I decided this was my stop loss for buying. Hitting my stop loss for buying equals an entry for selling. And so I short the market just on the other side of that line, no closes immediately when it hits that line, and my stop goes right above that candle. Now in my video, you're going to see that I use a 2-to-1 RR for that trade. Right? And I manage the trade. The video teaches you how. But for here, I want you to see that if you shorted as it punctured the white line, how far did it go? $1,000. Your stop would have been above the puncture candle right here. Goes down, 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 pops the line, keeps going down and through. My stop goes above the candle that punctured that level. So because of this simple rule set, I'm going to basically say we held it to the stop, even though it hit a minus 1,000. It hit $1,000 target. 340, we get to revisit the signal with trend. If we're still trading at 340, hallelujah, past the ammunition. Short here, our stop is here. When do we exit by? 4 o'clock plus 15. 4 o'clock now, enter here. The stop is just about the size, it's more than half of a full-size trend stop. I put my stop under the candle. And Lillian, as of right now, you're up $4. So, how did we do? How did we do? And were you able to follow? Were you able to follow that? Let's add it up. Calculator. Looking at the calculator. 11.5 plus 21 plus 14 plus 18 plus 19 plus 16 plus 3.75 minus 10 minus 9 minus 3 minus 4 minus 5 minus 1750. The net total, drum roll please, is $54 times $50 a contract is a theoretical $2,500 day. $54 net, $2,500 day. Which is weird because if I remember right, these signals are 4 days old. In fact, we have all sorts of markets we can look at. We can look at the NASDAQ, we can look at oil, we can look at the euro dollar, we can look at the pound dollar, we can look at Ethereum. These are all different markets that we can zoom in on and take closer looks at. In fact, here's the NQ 1 minute chart going into the afternoon. And Jorge, boy, it sure looks like they had a plan, doesn't it? Let's use the same rules you just learned. Aggressive counter trend, stopped out, -7. Puncture trade, stopped out, -27. Puncture trade, winner, 5.5. Lillian signal with trend, 147.50. Aggressive counter trend, never hits the stop, plus 42.25. Signal with trend, exit at 330, plus 13. Aggressive counter trend, stop below the structure to the left, exit by 351. Signal with trend, exit by 356. Aggressive counter trend, hits the stop, -25. Signal with trend, just a little bit right now. 5, 150, 190, 200, 240, 260, 255, 250, 225, 220, 190. So in that short time, 190 times 20, let's call it 4,000, about $3,500. Theoretical, hypothetical. Any questions about the 3 setups, the 4 setups, and how we can use them on a timing chart? Because these markets have been this predictable all day. This morning, right? If you look at a market like the NASDAQ and you say, well, just how predictable is it? Every day you have access to these times, which are there because the banks are doing these things over and over again, right? There's yesterday in the E-mini NASDAQ. This is the one that most traders trade when they're trading for funded accounts with companies like Apex. And they had a plan. And they were doing the same things. Never 100% of the time, but look. On a trending day, what's your biggest fear? I'm going to get in and they're going to go without me. I'm going to get in and they're going to go without me. Okay, so here are the predictive times again. This is the 3rd. What do? Follow the rules. 7:10 to 7:30 plus 5. Aggressive counter trend. The stop is like nothing. -3. Puncture, failure, -9. Puncture, oh, you're in the hole, -8. Signal with trend at 8:40, exit by 9:25 at the open, +32. Aggressive counter trend trade, there's the opening candle, -10. Signal with trend 9:45 until 10:50, +64. Aggressive counter trend, the stop is just above this candle here. I can see it. I have to acknowledge it. -8. Puncture failure, -8. Puncture second time never hits the stop, finishes where it starts. Signal with trend 11:50, exit by 135, +74. William, there's the stop to the left of me at 135, aggressive counter trend. And now I have to be out by when? 320, $31. Are you noticing that the winners are much larger than the losers? So there are several things that are foundationally different because you know the times in advance and you know now some rules. You can use one or all of them. But number one, you're less prone to overtrading. I have a schedule. I have an appointment with the market at each of these times. So if there are 11 times and you traded 32 times, you broke your rules. When you trade with these times, though, a funny thing happens. You trade fewer and fewer times. So that's number one. Number two, your stops are smaller. Your stops are smaller than they ever were because the trade either works now or not at all. Now or not at all. Number three, when the trade is going in your direction, you know how long it has to last. There's a reason to stay in it longer than my gut tells me this thing is going higher. My gut tells me this thing is going lower. Number 4, when the trade is done, walk away. You don't sit in front of your computer like, oh, is that a wick? There's a big wick there. Oh, and that's a doji candle and 3 soldiers and it moved fast. What does fast mean? And you get stuck in this trance where you wake up, the market closed, you traded 392 times, you owe $4,500 in commissions, and you have no idea that the day went by. So let me turn my camera off. And then just look as we go back and see what you could have done if you just followed those rules, right? Each of the days in sequence now, you know the signals, you know what they mean, and you can see most of the time they're actually following through on these times where stuff is happening. Can I use this with an existing system that I'm using? 100%. 100%. You can use this with an existing system. So if you're watching volume or trend lines or TPO charts or what's the one, value, ICT, value areas, I don't know, fair value gaps, that's the new flavor the kids are drinking now. Do it with these times though. Do it with these times. There are other markets that this works with, right? We have a customer that's trading with the euro US dollar on the euro US dollar. What's the euro US dollar supposed to do between Wednesday, June 4th and Thursday, June 26th? Michael, could you please share your perspective on the classical concept of market efficiency? Here's my concept of market efficiency. Everything you're seeing every day in the markets is a legalized form of gambling controlled by a very small, increasingly elderly cabal of ultra wealthy people. Money as we know it is fake. It's not real. It's a concept invented by men who have a lot of the invisible fake things. And they got together on an island in Georgia, Jekyll Island, and invented something called the Federal Reserve, which became the unelected 4th branch of the government of the most powerful country in the world. And we're now probably seeing the last drops of blood being squeezed from the stone that has suffered under an anvil, a hydraulic press of pressure for the last 200 years. There's no one left to oppress. There's no one left to enslave. Everybody overseas who's been making our iPhones and our iWatches and our iWhatevers now is just about aging out too as well. And so they're pulling up stakes and moving into countries like India and saying, hey, do you want a Tesla? Do you want some Kool-Aid? Would you like some Mangiano? Oh, you're not fat yet. They're not fat yet. Bring some of the corn syrup over here. That's what I think. None of it's real. It's just staged. It's pomp and circumstance. It's theatricality and deception. Because I've seen this for so many years in a row and I've watched so many of these manipulations take place, it's hard to believe that it's anything other than that. And so it's sort of a choice in the worldview. What do you want to wake up believing? Do you want to wake up believing that all of us have a say on how much the price of a share of Apple stock should be? Or do we believe Jamie Dimon sits down in a room with a conference call and 4 other guys and invents something to say about how the new battery is too thin, or there's a glitch, or Apple Intelligence doesn't really work, and that their team of marketers and public relations people begins to spread rumors now across the tech magazines because they have a massive short position? That's what I think. But what do I know? I'm just a crazy guy. I'm just one crazy guy who tells people what the market's going to do, and 2 days later, they do it. And so when somebody says, ooh, the price of Tesla is down and Trump and Musk are fighting, that's what most people think. Do you know what I think? I think there are billions and trillions of dollars at stake. And I think when something like that comes out, I immediately want to know who was short today. Who was short today? Was Kimball Musk short in a dark pool? Was Elon Musk short today in a dark pool with a Cayman Island account somewhere from Panama, maybe? That's what I want to know. It's theatricality, it's deception. Everybody's in on it. Your guy, the one you think isn't in on it, is in on it. They're all in on it. And they're not even trying to hide it anymore. They're not even trying to hide it anymore. So let me close this chart out. Any questions about what we've been looking at here? So I want to wake up and believe that I can start a garbage company in New Jersey. I want to wake up and believe I can go and buy a truck and have a nice slogan and offer fair value prices for people and get rid of their refuse. But then you watch a show like The Sopranos, where you grow up in Long Island, New York, like I did, and you realize that to get anything done anywhere, you have to grease the palms of everyone in every government agency. You have to make sure you bribe the inspectors when they come if you want your house to get inspected. And every other month, somebody's indicted on corruption charges because they have 14 hot tubs in their backyard from a vendor down the road who sells hot tubs and a contractor who wants a better deal. That's what these charts represent. Somebody somewhere knew they were going up at 5:55 until 8 o'clock. Somebody knew that there was a plan to go up from 9:30 until 9:40. Somebody knew. So all our program does is looks and sees what the somebodies who know things are doing and when they're doing it. And the next time they do it, we're sitting right there waiting patiently with our hand out to do the thing that they're about to do. That's all. I wish the world wasn't that way. I wish the free indicators worked, and I wish the free trials worked, and I wished all these vendors worked. But Apex reported a near $250 million revenue in a year. I think that's the estimate I came to when we saw their public records disclosed. That means $250 million was obtained from people trying to trade the other way in just one prop firm account. That is entirely bananas. That's entirely bananas. So I chose to look at the markets through a different lens. And let me see if this is still loaded up here correctly. No, I don't want to sign in. Okay, whatever. I don't even have a PowerPoint to show you. So in essence, if we kind of come around full circle, we're saying that if you look in the past and you just believe for a second that the markets are what we say they are, rigged, corrupted, timed, these signals begin to emerge. And you can wake up tomorrow and see what the times are for Tesla on a 5-minute chart, for SPY on a 5-minute chart. You can look at Tesla on a weekly chart. You can look at Apple on a daily chart. You can look at the euro dollar or Bitcoin or Trump coin or Doge or XRP or whatever floats your boat. And I will guarantee you there is a plan. And if there are any times where these markets are usually going up or down that you don't see because you're human, you'll see them. Or you can wake up tomorrow and decide, I would rather be in the dark. I like being excited. I like being filled with adrenaline. So we have a variation of this if you're locked into the TradingView ecosystem. This is Kronos for TradingView. This is Kronos for TradingView. And we can simply type in the codes for the different markets. So Lillian, this is Bitcoin on a 5-minute chart, right? All the things we just learned about, right? Can you spot the punctures? Can you spot the signals with trend? Would you have known to go short from 1310 until 245? Could you have taken an aggressive counter trend long at 245? Sure. Can you see the next signal at 4:30 and 17:30 tonight? 100%. Can we take that out to a daily chart? Sure can. You think Bitcoin is random? Look at what the program was telling us to expect. Look at what the program was telling us to expect. May 30th until June 17th. Bye. Go away. Don't come back until June 17th. Unless, of course, the candle closes above the moving average and punctures that blue line. Then you get to be long in Bitcoin again. There's a plan. There is a plan. There's a plan. There's a plan. There are patterns every day based on time that no one looks at because they don't want to believe this is real. They do not want to believe this is real. Because if it's real, then it forces them to confront the fact that everything they've bought for the last 5, 10, 15 years, every vendor that they've spoken to, is asking them to trade like they're playing Chutes and Ladders. They're asking them to trade like they're playing Candyland, and all the pieces on the board are really Monopoly. This is Monopoly. This is big boy, big girl pants trading, because it requires you to look it straight in the eyes and say, this is highly illegal, highly manipulated, and extremely unfair. And I'm going to trade it anyway. Amplitude for me is the default value, 11 most of the time. Wayne, I'll go down to an 8. An 8 is the lowest I'll usually go down to. Okay? And that's all I have to say about that. If you want to learn more about our products, there are a plethora of ways to get started. You're simply going to visit us at backtothefuturetrading.com. Go to Trading Tools, and there are 2 options. There's one for NinjaTrader. This is TachEon Warp. TachEon Warp is the program we've been using basically in some variation or another for 16 years. And if you scroll all the way down, here's how you can get started. It's $4.95 a month if you want to stick a foot in the water. It's $29.95 for the year. So that would be $5,000. That's $6,000 a year this way. It's $3,000 a year this way. Or if you just want to get your 1 year out of the way and finish forever, $59.95. What comes with that? Well, you're going to get a username and password to the website. When you log in, there'll be a video training archive available to you. You're also going to have access to our Discord. Our Discord is where people are sharing their results with each other. They're posting their actual entries and exits. They're letting you know what their P&L was at the end of the day. So our general community chat is a great place for you to connect with other traders. Who would you be connecting with, you say? You would be connecting with the good folks who have been posting their reviews over on Trustpilot. The overwhelming majority of people posting reviews are 5-star reviews. There's a few 4-star reviews, and there's even a couple 1-star reviews. Womp womp. And so if you want to learn more about how your experience might be like, you can read the reviews of guys like Roger. You can read Venkat Madaz's review too. He didn't buy the software. He was very angry that we didn't have a free trial. And when I accused him of not having enough money to even pay $2.95 to try the TradingView version, he lost his shinola. I said, hey, if $2.95 is too expensive, you probably don't have enough money to trade. And he lost his mind. You can read all about it. I can't delete the bad reviews. He didn't even buy the software. Apparently now, any interaction with your company that they can prove they had, even not buying it, they can rate you. Fun fact. So that's the NinjaTrader version. And blah, 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 blah. This is the version for TradingView. $2.95 a month. And if you scroll down, you'll see some examples of what those signals look like on various markets. These are not cherry picked. These are average, kind of looks the way it looks every day charts. And this one is $2.95 a month, or $19.95 a year, or one-time lifetime license, $29.95. Same credentials you're going to get to log into the website. You'll have access to the video training archives, all of the setup information and videos like the one I gave you and Lillian today, as well as access to the knuckleheads over in the Discord who are also using TradingView as well. Any questions about that? Sweet. We are super excited. I'm glad that we had a chance to have this talk. Your mother and I have been very worried about you. And any last questions before we slow down and ease our way into the weekend, possibly World War III, the weekend, hopefully just that. I'm betting on World War III though. Hope I'm wrong. No? Okay. Get started. Help is available if you need help with installation. You'll get that download for all of the things immediately after your purchase goes through, and you should be good to go right after that. If you have any questions, you know how to reach me. Michael, Michael, at backtothefuturetrading.com. And I will put my phone number here, 336-703-7667. Okay, that's my mobile. If you can, text me first. I'm probably going to be having supper with the family here in a few minutes. May the wind be at your back. May the sun shine upon your beautiful, handsome faces. May the valleys rise up to meet you. May the mountains lay low before you, not like volcano lay down before you, Mount Etna, just kind of in a gradual way. I do wish you success. I know that you can do it. I've seen other people do it. It's never been easier than it is with our software. Know the times in advance, smaller stops, much larger targets, less trades, more time away from your crazy computer, living your actual life. Don't believe me? Read through the reviews, read at least 10 of them, and read the bad ones too. Read the replies. Those are real people with real credit card receipts who had a real experience that want you to know what to expect on this side of things. Remember, we had the times 4 days in advance when we applied the rules from an obscure video made back in April. We ended up theoretically with $4,500 in one contract, $450 for a micro, and the signals for Wednesday were equally compelling. So that did actually happen. And if you know somebody else who can do that intraday at the accuracy we're doing it, please introduce me to them, because I haven't found anyone yet who can come close. It is harder than you think. Whew. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Lillian. Yeah, we can look at SPY together too. If you want, I can look at SPY next time. I'm off site right now, so I'm on a laptop. I'm tempted to go in and open some charts, but if I change one more thing, I think lava is going to come out of the keyboard of this thing. So we'll go over SPY. get into, we're meeting together too, and then I'm going to try to get more money out of you and convince you to come in my trading room. So get your loins girded. I'm coming for you. Thank you. Just teasing. Just teasing. Take care, everyone. Have a great afternoon, and thanks again. Remember, the market you trade is not random. You can know the times tomorrow, and if you've decided to go it alone and try it another way, remember that may be an early warning sign that you are gambling. If you can know what's likely to happen, you don't want to know. Isn't that the definition of gambling? I'll just let you think about that. And if it is, maybe take a break. There's no rush. The markets will be here when you finally figure it out. Good night, everyone. I love you all. Take care. Bye.